Scott Simons, welcome to the podcast, sir.
Thomas, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is cool shit. You've been in the Apex ecosystem now for quite some time, and I've known about you for well before then.
Is that infamous? Is that
it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. But your name kept popping up, and big in the Arte circle and a couple others, and everyone who I've ever spoken to always had good things to say about you.
Damn, I got them fooled.
But it's pretty funny. You and I have done business.
We have.
We've had some cool conversations, a couple vehicle rides here and there. I don't think we've ever really sat down and said to each other like, "Hey, man, who the hell are you, and how'd you get here?"
Yeah, that's true. We have.
Yeah.
We have not done that yet. We're going to do it today, so this ought to be a lot of fun. Although I feel like that I've gotten to know you pretty well. Mm-hmm. I'm a pretty good judge of character. Obviously, every now and then we get fooled, but
ain't that the truth?
Being from southern West Virginia, where I grew up, we're a pretty good judge of character. Just people make eye contact. How's their handshake? I could tell you were a really good dude. Mm-hmm. Pretty quickly.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That's some stuff that was taught to me at an early age by my family as well. Yeah. And granted, I didn't grow up in southern West Virginia, sir. I grew up in Long Island, New York.
Oh boy.
Yeah, big difference.
And so we're here interview. I'm getting interviewed by a Yankee. Oh
boy. The Yankee comment you got me there. So quick side story. I hunt.
Yeah.
Okay. A couple of days ago. Yes, this is Texas. It gets cold down here. Don't listen to what people tell you. I went out with Alex Cannaboni.
Oh yeah, Alex, great guy.
Yeah, great guy. He's like, hey, let's go hunting tomorrow. Cold front's coming in. Cool. I look at the temperature. It's 18 degrees the next morning. So we go out anyway. And I've got some Instagram stories posted up. And I get home later that day, and Stuman calls me. Right, and there's a short list of people who when they call, I answer my phone for, and he's one of them.
Right.
Answer the phone. What's up, man? What kind of Yankee shit you think you're doing down here in Texas?
Yeah, it's I heard about that, and of course I'm packing short sleeves and I'm packing shorts and stuff because where I just left from it was pretty daggone cold. But yeah, it's kind of not normal for here.
No, it's a little cooler for sure. It's been cool in the morning, cold in the morning, and then usually midday around 40s or 50s.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, though. But going back to the whole judge of character thing, I was born and raised into a family that was people. Like they understood people. Mm-hmm. They had jobs and roles where they had to deal with people on a daily basis. And my mom was in corporate sales. Her brothers were very inspirational to me when it came to the trades and actually working with my hands. They were both in the automotive industry. Mm-hmm. And that kind of got me kickstarted and led me down that path for, I'd say the first 3/4 of my career, if not more. But you had to be a pretty good judge of character pretty quickly, especially coming from that retail sales role, which I did retail car audio sales for a number of years. And, you being in the car industry and selling retail cars to end users, consumers, right. You got to be a pretty damn good judge of character and pretty quickly.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Dealing with the public, you've got to be able to read people, based on where I came from and how I was raised. I give people the benefit of the doubt. I was raised to, if you can help somebody, help them.
Yeah.
But don't enable them. And if they show you who they truly are, believe them. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, I would turn that person into maybe an enemy. Now I just simply distance myself. But we both love cars, the auto industry. I had a dream of being a car dealer.
Right.
And that came from growing up in pretty humble beginnings. Mm-hmm. Our first vehicle was a Chevrolet Celebrity that my dad took to the Vogue school. He may not have been paid anything for this car. If he did, it was very minimal, like minimal. Mm-hmm. Gave it to them as a project to fix and then gave it back to us. Well, typically when you give the kids a vehicle that's not worth hardly anything, you don't get that vehicle back. Yeah. They'll practice and Bondo's falling out and it'll go to the junkyard. Well, that was our car.
Yeah.
And I remember, I'll never forget it. I don't know if we were at a restaurant or a church. I can't remember, but I just remember someone, I was very young, dressed really nice. And it was probably the picture of the used car salesman from years ago. Probably had a pinky ring, maybe had a gold, had a gold bracelet on or whatever, and chains and dressed to the nines. And I think he got out and was in like a Cadillac or something. And I'm like starstruck.
Yeah. Car dealer.
We grew up. Our first house wasn't even our house. And I say this, but it was some of the best times of my life. Mm-hmm. But we lived in the house my mom was born in. She was one of 9. My dad was one of 9. And our aunt helped raise us. Mm-hmm. And we sold that house for less than $10,000.
Wow.
So when I saw that person, that car, well, what's that person do? Well, they sell cars. So if you sell cars, you get to have nice cars like that. And I've always, from when I took a trip with our family to Italy, because my mom's Italian, I think everybody grew up with that Lamborghini Countach,
of course,
white. That's what we all wanted.
Yeah.
And I genuinely like cars. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, when your truck came in, your red kick-ass TRX, I'm driving the back lot. There's some transportation issues going on, and we're on the mercy of some drivers and this, that, and the other, which they don't have it perfect. But anyway, I'm driving through the back lot. I think I'm in the Gladiator. I see your red truck there. I'm so excited about that truck and about it's there for you, and it showed up early, that luckily the vehicle I got out of, the Gladiator, I think when you open the door, it automatically puts itself in, like it stops.
Yeah.
Or I'm not too sure that I put it in. I know I didn't put it in, that it would just kept rolling.
You didn't put it in park.
I didn't put it in park. I jumped out of the vehicle. I jumped out of the truck before I put it in park.
Yeah.
And because I was so excited because I saw it. Mm-hmm. And I love vehicles. I love, I'm a car nut. So that's what drew me at a young age in the auto industry. Yeah. One, I could escape where I was at. Mm-hmm. My parents did a fantastic job raising my brother and I. But they lived in scarcity. Mm-hmm. Clipped the coupons. Worried. Dad didn't make more than $32,000 a year. Worked 5 jobs. My mom worked in lab supervisor, and I watched them struggle and argue about money. And I got my work ethic from them, but I said, I don't want to live that way. I don't want my children to live that way.
Yeah.
There's more to life than this.
Yeah.
They saved their way into being multimillionaires. But if they would have worked on producing more income, imagine what they could have done.
Right.
They had the saving down right, and I just didn't want to. That wasn't like, to this day, if you say, Scott, let's go to a buffet, which you probably wouldn't, I'm not going to go because I'm scarred for life because my parents made us go eat in a buffet, and that was your only meal that day.
Right.
Eat till you were basically wanted to puke.
Yeah.
We're the family that would just graze. We would be there and they'd be like, you go now. You don't pay, you go now. And they had a picture of my dad. We joked around, had one of these and had this picture like, you're not welcome back, because he would just wear those buffets out.
Yeah.
And to this day, I won't go eat at a buffet, but it was just part of how we were raised. But, how we were raised played a big role in who we are.
Of course.
So I wouldn't take any of that back.
It instills that foundation into you. I think a lot of that happened with me as well. There was definitely some scarcity in the area that I grew up in. My mom wound up becoming a single mom when I was 4. She divorced my father. And just to get away from shit that was over there, my father, I'm fully transparent about this. He just, great guy, one of the smartest individuals I've ever met, 0 fucking work ethic whatsoever, and man's an alcoholic. And he has been his entire life. So that right there, it's like doing good. The bad compounds itself as well. So now at the age of 70 years old, the guy can barely walk. Cool, still with us, thank goodness. But at the same point in time, my father taught me exactly what not to do. Thanks, Dad, appreciate that lesson.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
My mom and her brothers instilled the work ethic into me. Very similar to you. You saw that car salesman. Yeah. That was my mom's one brother. He actually sold Chevrolets for a number of years.
Awesome.
Then moved over to Toyota. And my mom's other brother, and he was very mechanically inclined, wound up opening his own used car dealership and doing detailing and auto mechanics and stuff. And as a teenager, Mom was like, hey, I don't trust you for shit. Go with your uncle for a couple weeks over the summer. I got, handle stuff and work, and as a single mom, make sure that you are taken care of. So
That's
your
awesome.
Uncle's going to take care of you, and he worked my ass off. Boy,
Oh, yeah, free labor.
Oh, yeah. But again, some of the best times looking back at it, I developed a relationship with him and my other uncle because of of doing that hard work with those guys and learning how to use tools. And I realized and said, hey, cars are really cool. I like cars. I actually like motorcycles more growing up. But as I got to that age where you got my license, it was like, cool, well, motorcycles can wait now because I need a car, because I need room for the girl to sit next to me in the car, right?
That's right.
So get into cars, and then I'd always loved music. That was one good thing my dad passed on to me. He passed on a love of music. So one day I'm hanging out with this kid who's a little bit older than me, and he's got these two 6x9 speakers in the back deck. He had I think it was a Toyota Celica, like an '87 Toyota Celica.
So the system cost more than
100%. 100%. Actually, the car was only about 10 years old at that point, so it was probably worth a couple bucks still. But he had these two 6x9s on the back deck and a Sony amplifier in the back right-hand corner of the trunk. I'd never heard anything like that before in my life. I didn't even know you could do that in a car. So here we go. Here's a car. I like to work with my hands, and you could put audio in a car. Done.
And I can make money.
Yeah. And that wasn't the. It's funny. I was just talking to Monica Byers about this. That wasn't the intent of me getting involved in that. I didn't really care about the money. I just was like, that's cool, and I know I can be good at it.
Now, what age was that?
16, 17. By the time I graduated high school at 17, I was a MECP certified installer. So I had a piece of paper that said I was a professional.
Wow.
Now, was I a professional? That's debatable because I didn't have the real world experience to go along with it. But I had the book smarts at that point.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I left high school and wound up getting a job that summer at my first retail place. And I walked in there, and the guy's like, he hired me, and I wanted to be an installer. I went in the next Monday, carrying my little Craftsman toolbox and wearing my installer clothes. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm here to work. He goes, not with that toolbox, you're not. He goes, you're too clean cut. He goes, get your ass up front, you're in sales. I was devastated.
Yeah, you didn't want to
Yeah, I don't want to sell. But that right there, again, was one of those blessings in disguise in life, because he put me at the front counter of this retail place that was pretty busy, and I had to learn people very quickly.
The radio kickers and the people that were there just gathering information. And, we refer to it when people did come to the lot a lot.
Tire kickers.
As that and window shoppers or they would come grab all the information from you.
Yeah.
Then go and get on the internet and then sell you out over $50. Obviously that's changed now with, inventory shortages, and we're probably needed more for advice than ever. But they would come in and I said, hey, you got to figure out what's holding them up from buying. And if you don't find out what the objection is, the hardest objection is the one you don't know. So why did they leave? I don't know. Well, then you didn't ask enough questions. You didn't do your job.
Yeah.
If it's price, we can work on price. If it's trade, it's typically payment, price, trade. Any one of those things, if you let me know what it is, we'll overcome it because we want to have a long-term relationship. When that person leaves, and sometimes it's they leave because they don't want to hurt the person's feelings.
Yeah.
So they just say, well, I'm going to go home and talk to my spouse.
Talk to my wife.
Yeah, that's, let's call her, or let's go take it to her. There's certain things that if we knew that, but, we'll just get back in touch with you. Well, part of it is we never, at that time, took them down a process to use third-party validation. So, this is the price, this is your trade, this is your payments. They just simply don't know. Okay, well, according to Kelley Blue Book, so we would just use third-party validation because some just didn't want to hurt the person's feelings. And said, hey, we got to engage them because you don't want to go spend 3 hours with somebody. They go home, get online and buy from somebody else.
Right, or go to the next dealer half a block away because usually, it's a strip of dealers in a row, and they go buy from that guy.
And then you walked into a closer instead of someone that focused on their true needs. So, but it's been, the auto industry's been great to me. The Apex support. I mean, I joined this group. Ryan and I both were in Arte, and I watched Ryan, what he was doing, and did some deals with Ryan and met his group. And I said, man, that's just a group of people that are just doing some pretty epic shit.
Sure.
And had contacts with him and et cetera, saw some people join that I knew, and I said, man, I want to get a part of that. And I was just talking to a friend of mine before I came over, and he's thinking about joining. And he said, man, tell me about it. And I said, hey, no disrespect toward any other group. There's a lot of great groups out there. and there's a lot of great people out there. I said, but this past year, I've gotten more. I've leveled up personally. I've met some great connections, and my investment, I don't know what X I've done. I mean, it's just
Just in TRX sales.
I think we got 27 on order, and I don't have them all in. And I think that would, with the 27, what we've already delivered,
Yeah.
you know, it's pushing close to 50. When I did a post not too long ago, I'd sold 10.
Yeah.
You know, and they thought that was like, this is amazing. You know, and I've met some really amazing people through Ryan, you know, the Jason posted, he's got 1.1 million followers on TikTok, on Instagram. And then he tags me in a post. He's texting me on the way here.
Yeah.
I've sold him one TRX. He's got 2 more on order, and he's got Escalade on order. And it's just amazing. You know, you get in these groups, become family, serve, don't spam them, don't sit and say, hey man, I can get you a really good deal. No, I'm here to serve. If I can help in any way, you know, I help people buy vehicles that don't buy from me. Like I'm looking for a good friend of ours is looking for a BMW X5M, and it's his probably best advice for me is going to be let's find you a dealer and order what you want. Because if I buy it used right now, you're going to pay more than list.
Yeah.
If we can find one that'll sell at list, if you want this used one, I'll sell it to you, no problem.
Yeah, sure.
But advise you as a friend, if you can wait, this is the best route to go. That advice and looking out for what's in his best interest will sell me, I don't know how many more vehicles.
Yeah, but this is the common theme, and it's probably the 15th time I'm saying this today alone, right? But that right there is know, like, and trust. Okay, so you're continuing to build the know, like, and trust factor. We need those three things. Those three things over time equal a sale or a transaction at some period of time. We don't know when it's going to be.
That's right.
But if you add up those three pieces, if somebody knows you, they can determine if they like you. If they determine they like you, then they can determine if they trust you.
And you know, the people that don't buy, there's some people there's a few that I haven't been able to find what they're looking for. You know what? As soon as they post it on social media, congratulations. I love it. You dealt with so-and-so. They're an amazing person. In the future, let me know how I can assist you in any way.
Yep.
I'm not too sure the Scott years ago would have done that.
Yeah.
The immature Scott years ago would have said, screw that person.
Asshole.
You know,
Yeah.
they didn't buy from me. Well, no, I couldn't deliver what I told them I would do.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's a different brand. It's something I don't even represent, but I'm still going to try to help them.
Yeah.
You know, and if you just think about it, just like you said, just long term. But, you know, this group and this family that I've joined, I mean, last year, besides I was speaking at another event, I didn't miss one event.
Yep.
The lives, the $1 Million Masterminds, I didn't miss one. I made every single one of them.
I remember that one event you missed. You're like, I'm
Yeah,
not happy
I was
that
up
I'm
for
missing
award.
this. Yes.
I was up for award. I was up for award. I'm like, crap, shit. The one I missed, I'm up for award. But I was speaking from a friend, Tony Watley, at 365 Driven, and Tony's got a group of Mopar people, man, and they just love it. And so we were out at the, it was called the Bondurant School of Racing, but it has since been sold.
Okay.
It's called the Richmond, but it's all Hellcats. Hellcats. Cool. It's Challengers, Chargers, and we went out there for a full day. If you're in Arizona,
it's the way to do it. Yeah.
Dude. We needed doing like an Apex meetup out there, do something, bro. It is fun.
You know, there's a large amount of, thanks to you, of Mopar vehicles in the Apex ecosystem right now.
You know, Lisa just isn't here. She bought a Ram pickup truck. We delivered it. You know, Monica didn't buy her Audi from me, but we helped her.
Yep.
You know, as you see when you walk through, Brandon.
Yep. He's got one on order.
He's got one on order. The grill, he's got one on order. So it's been, you know, I'm going to speak some tomorrow, but I'm going to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. The support that this group has done has been mind-blowing to me.
So, and I appreciate that. Listen, it goes back to you doing the right thing, expecting nothing in return, and the universe providing, right? It's just the way it works. You have a very, I almost want to say, unique process at this point in time. And I know that the car industry has changed massively over the last couple of years. Buying on the internet is now normal. Yeah. There's internet sales departments within any of the dealers that I've dealt with or had communications with over the last probably 10 years at this point. But I hit you up and I said, hey, man, I want to buy a truck. And I already decided I was going to do business with you because I wanted to support somebody in the ecosystem. So whether you told me you sold a Ford, Chevy, or a Dodge, I knew what I wanted already. Like, just the way I buy too. You buy the same way you sell the same way you buy.
Right.
If I'm calling you, I'm not calling you to waste your time. I'm ready to go.
That's twice now. I completely get it. Yeah, I understand how you operate. Yeah, which we appreciate.
Yeah. So, I hit you up, and you guys are dialed in when it comes to the whole process. So let's put this into perspective. I'm here in Dallas, Texas.
Right.
I call you up. Right. You're in Virginia.
Right.
Buy a truck from you.
Right.
I barely gave you anything.
Yeah.
And this truck shows up at my front door.
Yeah. One, our team, which we make mistakes. We're not perfect. Mm-hmm. We treat you how we want to be treated.
Yeah.
And when it's somebody from Apex, because you're obviously part of Apex, mm-hmm. but to be in this group, you've been vetted, mm-hmm. right? Not just anybody can join Apex.
Sure.
And when I go to my GMs, so how the process works, you contacted me. We go to a gentleman named Ben Rexroad. I have leaders in all 5 stores. Mm-hmm. They're kind of like my generals.
Yeah.
And
I just want to paint the picture here for the audience. When you say 5 stores, you're talking you got 5 dealerships.
5 dealerships.
Right. So right off the brands real quick. You got
I've got Honda,
yep.
Nissan,
yep.
Subaru,
yep.
Volkswagen,
yep.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram.
Got it.
The CDJR brand is 1.
Okay.
So it's 8 franchises, but it's 5 stores, all separate buildings, mm-hmm. but I can walk to each one.
Okay, so it's one central
location.
It's
one auto complex.
Got it.
We're in a population of about 22,000 people.
Yeah.
And we ship California, we ship all over the United States, mm-hmm. but it's really taken off in probably about the last 5 years.
Okay.
In between the connections that I made in the groups that I've joined, mm-hmm. and the brotherhoods and the sisterhoods. And, that's part of what we teach. Let's do business with our own.
Yeah.
Like if there's somebody that can serve you. So our process to make sure that we're taken care of, I've trained my managers and meet with my team leaders and say, mm-hmm. look, when I send this person over, I tell the story. Like Ben knew who you were. He knows. Mm-hmm. He knows where you live. He knows who you are. He knows what role you play. Like I sit down, and it's not just, hey, call Thomas. Mm-hmm. No, let me explain to you who Thomas is.
Yeah.
Let me give you some insight into Thomas. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Mm-hmm. So that way when Ben gets on the phone with you, which we want to do an initial call, we want to make sure that we're ordering. You already knew what you wanted once you spoke to us, right? Yeah. But if you order something that we know may not be as popular, or if you forget to order something, Thomas, hold on a minute. Have you thought about this? Mm-hmm. We want to help guide you. We just don't want to take your order and order your truck.
Yeah.
And then once you order the truck, we'll say, hey, we'll help you with financing if you need it. We'll help you with the trade-in. We'll help you with transportation. We'll do everything. You never have to visit here. And we're immediately going to order your truck. Mm-hmm. We don't ask for down payment. We don't ask for credit at mm-hmm. first. We're going to order your truck because the whole process starts. We got to get that order in. The longer we wait to put that order in, the longer the truck comes in. So there's some people that'll reach out to me, and not you, obviously. Mm-hmm. They'll kind of wait and say, hey, the longer you wait, the further it goes out. And the one thing about that truck, that Hellcat engine in it, every time they sell a car, not a truck, with that engine in it, they have to pay a fine. They've already said by 2023 it's probably going to go away. So my sense of urgency, whoever I talk to, they built the Durango for 6 months. They're no longer producing it with the Hellcat engine. The Trackhawk is no longer produced. Mm-hmm. We just got an email said no longer producing it.
Wow.
So Ben Rexroad is the leader of the CDJR store. Mm-hmm. He knows the ordering. He knows it better than me. He runs that store better than I could.
Yep.
And that's the key.
It's key to getting the right people in your business.
I met Ben Rexroad, and he had not even sold a vehicle from me. And we promote. We have 22 managers. I think 18 have sold cars there. Yeah. So we're big. We're like the Patriots. We're not going to go hire the big free agents. Mm-hmm. And I don't like the Patriots. I'm a Dolphins fan. I actually hate the Patriots. But anyway, so we're going to promote from within almost every single time. We just had a promotion at the CDJR store. Came from within. That's just starting sales, going to business officer, finance, sales manager, general manager, and then you could managing partner, and then dealer principal, which I'm managing partner. And that just means I part own the business. And when I met Ben, I said to my partner, she said, because we got the Chrysler store, we actually put them out of business and was awarded it for nothing.
Wow.
So it got put out of business. We had to agree to build a $5 million store. But for the franchise, which you know what a franchise is worth, we paid $0. So we built the $5 million store, but we still got the $5 million store. Now, we worked out of a very small place. If I showed you a picture of it, you'd be like, oh my gosh. We called it the Happy Hut. Because it looked like a massage parlor. It really did. It was bad. They called it the Happy Hut. Commodes would blow up in the air, but each entity is on its own. So I couldn't go borrow money from the Honda store.
Yeah.
We don't cross collateralize because we don't want, if something would happen and this would go down, there would be a crazy lawsuit or it'd be diesel lawsuit or whatever.
Yep.
We don't want to cross collateralize. So we don't. So we had to save up.
Smart.
We had to work out of a small place.
Yeah.
That had cracked windows, because there's no other land, there's nothing else we could buy. We had to operate there until we saved up the $3 million to put half down to build what we're in now. Now we're in a epic place now. But I told my partner, I said, I just interviewed my general manager. She said, really? I said, yeah.
So you knew it from
I knew
instant.
it. I knew it.
That goes right back to what we started with the people reading skills.
Yeah. I knew it. The questions that I asked, he'd owned his business before. He was dedicated. I asked more personal questions. Did you play competitive sports? Tell me about your personal life. Like I don't really. Then he ran he owned a trucking company at one point. Did go through a divorce, but he found somebody else at that point. And that's fine. Half of them end in divorce, unfortunately. But I knew it. He had it. Start off selling. Went in to perform sales. He actually sold to businesses. Went into sales management. General sales manager, general manager. And what makes him special is he's got some fixed op experience. Most people that run stores have no fixed ops experience. Because he owned the trucking company, which goes back to you with the radios, he had to learn how to do maintenance and stuff on trucks. So what makes him special is most people come through the variable operations, which is your sales. He came through, he has some fixed operations experience, which makes him he's more knowledgeable across all the different. And plus, he's just, you've dealt with Ben. He's not pushy.
Nope.
He's very even-keeled. He's very knowledgeable. He's very prompt when he follows up. He tells you, he just handles himself in a very, just a good guy.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of really good people. I've been very fortunate. I win a lot of awards and stuff through the different manufacturers. And, I think a good leader accepts responsibility no matter what. No matter what. It's mine. If we had a bad month, it's my fault.
Yep.
And deflect praise. I've got the best team in the world. And a lot of people, we don't like to use the word I. We don't like to use the word me.
That's a trigger for me. That right there, you use the word I too much to me, whether it's speaking, whether it's in some kind of copy that you've written, it burns my ass bad. And it's funny, man, hindsight's always 20/20. And it's funny, when I was going through it, I fucking knew it, and I didn't have the balls to do anything about it. My last business partner was an I guy. And I knew it. It just bothered me so damn bad. And it wasn't until I finally got crystal clear on what the fuck I was here to do. And when I say here to do, I mean like in life.
Yeah.
Right? It was like, all right, cool. Now, see you later and get to it.
When the managers say that, I say, I know you realize you're not doing it, but there's no I. There's no me. Unless you're claiming responsibility for something. And unless something don't go right, then it's I and me.
Yeah.
But if we're winning, it's us, it's we.
Yeah.
I
got a question for you.
Yeah.
How do you continuously pour into the team and further along their self-development? Because without you coaching or developing these people, the business at some point in time is just going to get stagnant.
Yeah.
So what do you do as a leader to pour into those people to continue their development?
So I get coached and learn when I join these groups.
Sure.
If you notice, tomorrow I don't miss an event. I'll have, even if I'm speaking at an event, I just don't speak and leave. I sit up at the front typically. I have my iPad out or my or laptop, and even an old school notepad. I date it and I fill it up and then I save it. And then I'll reference stuff while people are talking, but I'll sit in the front row because I'm always constantly trying to learn. I mentor our staff. We teach them, it's voluntary, It's during lunch on Fridays. They can eat their lunch and they have homework. Give you an example. Scott, what's some of the things you taught? One week we had a challenge. Who could live the cheapest? Track your variable expenses. Every energy drink, every cigarette, everything. Come in. We're going to list out what you spent. We're going to see whoever lives the least expensive, not cheapest. I say cheapest, but least expensive. You know, I know we got to be politically correct. But anyway, they won a gift certificate, gift card. We said, okay, everybody, write on a piece of paper what your credit bureau is. Some people didn't know. Okay, go to freecreditreport.com, pull your credit. I'm going to go over your credit bureau with you. Yep. We're going to set budgeting. We're going to set goals. And some listen and some don't. And I tell you, by pouring into the people, I don't know if I've ever shared this story with you, but by mentoring your people and pouring into them, it can literally save their life. Most of the time, I find when someone's pissed off, customer, I got one, unfortunately, we have them. I find out it has nothing to do with what we did. When I really dig deep, they got something else going on.
Always.
So we had a sales rep. I walked into a 7-Eleven. Good-looking guy, looks like the baby rock. And I'm like, hey, man, what are you doing working here? And I know him. He's well-known in the community. He said, well, I work at a dentist's office during the day, and I work here at night. I said, man, with your personality, you live 30 miles away to work at 7-Eleven. I commend you, but what type of money are you making in this doctor's office? Making like $32,000 a year. Been there 15 years. Personality.
Yeah.
Could light up a room. Working at 7-Eleven, said, hey, come talk to me. What are we talking about? Come sell cars. Oh, Scott, I don't want to sell cars. Well, I know. We're different. Come talk to us. He came to work for us. Did a good job. I wouldn't say he lit it up at first. He's lighting it up now. So he was in my mentorship, and he came to me. There was an event that happened where he was help raising. He had a girlfriend, was help raising the daughter. Dad wasn't in the picture. Daughter goes out, birthday party, went to a bar. We have very, very little bit of violence where I'm from, period. After a birthday party, 2 parties get in an argument. They kick them out. They go to 7-Eleven. The people that got kicked out, they all went to 7-Eleven. Well, one of them was a lady. It was a criminal and her husband. These young girls were 21. This lady gets in the argument with the birthday one. They meet in a parking lot. They start fighting. Harold's daughter goes to break them up. The boyfriend, the criminal, the only other man there, pulls a knife out, pulls the girl's hair back, slits her throat. She had her head down, went to 7-Eleven. When she moved her head, she bled out.
Holy shit.
Okay, he raised that girl, okay? And I knew the police that they're in small town, everybody. I knew and heard all about it, and I said, oh, Jesus. The girlfriend, the mom of the person that was murdered, the dad, the real dad came in town. The mom gets hooked back up with him and to grieve, goes out and starts drinking. They're missing. The gentleman's like, where are you at? She wouldn't answer her phone. Come to find out, she's at the bar drinking to grieve. Harold walks in and says, what are we doing? Like, what are you doing with, this guy's never been around. Like, they get in a fight. She says, get out. This wasn't your real daughter. Get out.
Yeah.
Kicks him out. He's not allowed to go to the wedding. I think actually that day he may have got arrested because he got in a fight with the guy. Because you can't sit here and drink yourself. This ain't going to make it any better. And this person has never been involved in his own daughter's life.
Right.
So we're in, the gentleman that works for me comes to me and says, after about a month or two, he went and bought a bunch of stuff and was grieving by buying stuff. Sales plummeted, right? As you can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, he raised this girl.
Yeah, not in a good mental space.
Yeah. So he comes to me, goes, hey, and he was someone I mentored, and he says, hey, boss, man, I'm quitting. Some people may have been busy. Something didn't seem right. I said, Harold, what do you mean you're quitting? He said, I've just had enough. I need to change the pace. I'm moving away. I said, where are you going, man? He said, I'm going to go live with my brother and I'm going to sleep on the couch. I said, Harold, this don't sound like you, man. I said, bro, sit down. I'm not going to accept your resignation. I'm not going to do it. I don't know if it's money or not. I had money on me. I know you went and bought stuff. I don't know if it has anything to do with money. Here's whatever, $2,000. Take it. I'm not accepting your resignation. And if you love me, you'll take that money. If you come back tomorrow, I'll accept your resignation. And he was distraught, like he was not himself. He was pacing around. Takes the money, leaves. Comes back the next day and says, "Boss, I'm gonna stay." I said, "Well, thank you. I'm gonna help you." We're in that mentorship. Ask everybody to pull their credit. Harold's in that mentorship. About half the people participated. Harold gets really mad. Stands up. 6 months later, guys, gals, respect this man's time. He's pouring into y'all. His time is very valuable. Y'all don't respect him enough to pull your own credit. He's trying to help y'all. And let me explain something to y'all. If it wasn't for that man, I wouldn't be alive. And they said, looked at him. He starts crying. I start crying. My assistant starts crying. The whole room starts crying. He said, I came in. I'd hung a noose up in my house.
Fuck Christ.
He said, I came because I respect him so much I couldn't go hang myself without thanking him one more time. And he said, that man would not let me leave. He said, I was going home. I just had to tell him bye because everything he did for me. That's how much I respect him. He said, y'all won't even pull your credit. A couple days went by. He brought me a Superman shirt, brought me the noose, and wrote me a handwritten letter about what I've done for him. That's how mentoring people and pouring into people, that's what it can be. It can literally save somebody's life because you don't know what they're going through.
Yep.
That man now has been remarried. He's made more money he's ever made. He comes by and brags. And he says, boss, you wouldn't believe this. I bought my Harley Davidson. I got my truck. My wife has got her a Jeep. You know what he does now? He takes staff members that want to lose weight, and he takes them to the gym and works out with them to give back. And that's all because I cared enough about an employee to not accept what didn't seem right.
Yep.
It was out of character for him.
Let's circle back to the beginning of the podcast. That goes back once again to reading people, right? If you hadn't have noticed that, hey man, something just ain't right with you today.
I want to show you something real quick.
Yeah.
I want to show you. And you can friend this guy, because if you would see this guy now, if I say this is the guy that was going to hang himself. Hold on. He was just named salesperson of the month. All right, there's he's working out with people, giving time to people who want to work out, that want to lose weight.
Yep.
Okay? Go down, you'll see where he's tagged. Obviously, he's but you'll see, maybe they didn't tag him in it, but there's his new wife.
Yep.
And he wins salesperson of the month almost every single month. I mean, every single month he's up at the top of the line.
Yeah.
And he is like just I mean, the guy looks like look at that guy.
Yep.
That guy was going to hurt himself.
Yeah, it's going to end his own life.
He's going to end his own life. And he is thriving in every aspect of life. A natural leader, works more than we ever asked him to do. Takes people to the gym and works out with them. Gives them
wild,
time. And I still got it. I got that in the box in my office. And whenever I feel like that I'm not giving it my all, or that what I do makes a difference, because sometimes we all go through it.
Of course.
You know, there's days that I don't want to be there. My job is to not let them know that. I have my own personal issues going on.
Yep.
You know, I got an 18-year-old daughter, as you can imagine. I got a 15-year-old son that's got a learning disability but makes straight A's. You know, but I have difficulties in life too. But I keep that box and I look over there.
Yeah.
And that's the difference that we can make in someone's life. And we're a car dealership. Doesn't have the best reputation in the world.
No.
But I just know that's a type of difference. So pour into your people. Truly care about them. When you see them struggle, don't kick them when they're down. Now, if it's self-harm, that's one thing.
Different.
That man didn't do anything to deserve what happened to him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was grieving.
Yeah. Wasn't like he was out there drinking and drugging.
No.
And, you know,
He don't
bumming around town.
drink. He don't drink. He don't do drugs. Now he's an adrenaline junkie. He likes motorcycles. He's a good man. But that story, when I share it with people, man, it just knocks them to the core for them. And the feedback I get from that story is they make them that makes them look at their staff just a little bit different.
Sure.
Because you just never know.
You don't know what they're going home to. You know, man.
You don't.
My wife, she's a school psychologist by trade. She's dealt with some shit. Not herself, but on the job, listening to what, and she retired. We had twins. We had daughter number 1, and the school that she worked for at the time was like, hey, if you work at least 3 days a week, we're going to keep your benefits. So me being a small business owner at the time, I'm like, yeah. Get your ass back to work.
Right. You need
so
benefits,
fast forward 2 years, my wife gets pregnant again, and we're blessed with twins. And she looks at me and she's like, I don't think I'm going to be able to work anymore.
No, not that's.
Yeah. So
That's a lot.
Cool. I get it. We'll figure it out. I'll figure out a way to make more money and support us as a family and cover all that crap. So we did it. We survived. We're still here. But in that role, when she was a school psychologist, she had very similar stuff. And yes, she had some kids and students who were suicidal and a couple of attempts, unfortunately. But you never knew what those people were going home to. Most of the outside world didn't know it. But she had the relationships with those kids where they were open up and telling her shit. And like, man, you think you got it fucking rough? Let me tell you something.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
There was she had a student, and there was sexual abuse at the house. And it was a father who was doing the sexual abuse, and there was 2 daughters, and they were sisters. And the one student was my wife's, and she was disappointed and opened up to my wife and said, he likes her more than he likes me because he doesn't do it with me anymore. Like, talk about rocking your world, man. Like, you just don't know what goes on.
And that's hard because no matter what, you can't unhear that.
No,
you
ever.
can't unsee that. And it makes it difficult when you have so many people relying on you, as your wife did, and y'all have a booming company here. There's a lot of pressure because when you truly care about the people that you work with and what you do, the burden's bigger.
Yeah.
Obviously, if we didn't care, you'd just turn and burn them. And that happens. But when you truly care, the burden is heavier. But I think it's the right thing to do. And I think that the team that you build and you hear people say, hey, man, that team's amazing. It's because they know that you truly care. And if I truly care, when I tell people this all the time, if I'm not messing with you and pushing you and prodding you, that means I've kicked you in the rear end. That didn't work.
Yeah.
Let me go back. I patted your rear end and said, hey, Thomas, you can do it. And then I've kicked you. Thomas, okay, that didn't work.
Yeah.
Let me kick you in the rear end. You're better than this. And when I keep trying, it's because I've tried everything. Don't mean don't give up on you. You're human. I love you.
Yeah.
But I don't know what to do to help you. And, you go back and re-engage and try to talk to them and try to help them because you never want to give up on somebody. But, I can tell, I can't relate exactly what your wife went through.
Sure.
Because then that comes home to the dinner table.
Oh, yeah.
And when you're snapping, it's because you're thinking, man, I got to go help that person.
Right.
And there's some things we go through that we don't want to relive.
It's 100%, and even in the vein of a business owner, there's stuff that transpires within the day that, weighs on us, sometimes heavy, sometimes not. And sometimes it's little stuff that just adds up. And we go home and we may have that spouse that isn't in business. And it's like, hey, babe, how was your day today? And you're just like, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
And you keep it bottled up, and some days you just don't have the energy to talk about it because you're emotionally drained.
Because then you got to relive it, and then they get mad because your spouse cares about you.
Correct.
And
but
then
also, since they're not necessarily, let's call it a business owner or someone who's an entrepreneur, you can't just give the 30,000 foot overview. You've got to stop in between and explain the idiosyncrasies in between everything.
Right.
That takes even more of your fucking energy
right,
out.
and then you get mad, and then they don't understand why. Well, I don't understand why it was such a big deal.
Yeah.
But thank goodness that we've both married amazing people.
for sure.
My daughter, my wife, we have a daughter and a son, but my wife, I met her when she was 15 and I was 17. And she walked in the community center where I worked at for my dad, making $4.70 an hour at 15, I think, and working about 60 hours a week. We were breaking all sorts of child labor laws. And I had to give him my money, too. It was weird. Like, I never got it back. I had to give it to him. And my wife walked in, and she was very attractive and had all her teeth. And I said, as long as she's not my cousin, that's the one. Being from West Virginia. So
I was
you
going
can
to say,
make
this
fun of
must be a
yourself.
West Virginia thing.
But it was the truth. And we don't think she's my cousin.
Yeah.
Although, it may be debatable sometimes. But no, we're really fortunate. And even through all those ups and downs and everything that we deal with, I love life.
Yeah.
I love the life, and I love my friends, and I love the groups that I've gotten in. And sure, is it sacrifice? Yeah. Getting on a plane, flying here, flying right out when it's over. We got busy lives. But, I've gotten so much out of this group and the friendships. We're friends. We would do anything for each other.
Yeah.
And it's been a real honor. I was talking to a gentleman earlier, and he's calling, and we were in another group, and he said, what do you think? I said, dude, it's an amazing group of people. It's like, I didn't miss an event. I could have came up with every excuse in the world besides the one where I spoke. If I commit to something, I'm going to be here because I'm learning.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm learning, and I like the people that are here. So we haven't seen some of them since I missed that one in a couple months. So I'm excited about seeing them.
Yeah, that's a good thing. We got our first Fly-In Friday event coming up this week, Thursday and Friday. It's a 2-day event. Normally they're not 2 days.
Right.
But the reason it's 2 days is because we typically take off November and December by the end of the year because everyone's busy Thanksgiving and Christmas and holidays and all that crap. So it's literally been months for some people because some people didn't make the September or the October event either.
Right.
So it could be 4 or 5 months for some people where I got to get back in that room and get that recharge.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it as well. I think we got some pretty cool shit planned out this year. We are not going to be at the 13th floor here in this building any longer as Apex executives. We've got venues set up, and our event coordinator Tyler is working hard on that as of now. So we got a couple of different hotel venues we're going to be popping into. We've got a couple of different specialty places that we're going to be popping into as well over the course of the next 12 months. But man, I'm excited as all hell to do it and be a part of it still. And as much as I give back as far as content information and help train others, I get back a tremendous amount myself on that too.
I've had people reach out to me and say, your personal brand we see everywhere. You're on every podcast. You're on Clubhouse now from 7 to 9 live on a morning show, which what the hell am I doing on a morning show? But I said, yes, let's do it.
Yeah.
From the business deals I've done. I'm standing in there talking to another Apex brother, and I'm doing a business deal, sitting there, everybody's looking like, did you just say you're getting 10% a month? I said, yeah, I am. And wow. I'm like, anyway. So there's some risk to it. Trust me, there's some risk to it. There's always risk to anything. The higher return, the higher risk, but it's just awesome when you walk in the office and you see Ryan and you see everybody that Drewby and everybody that's became family to you, and then you get to sit down and and break bread with you. It's just an awesome group of people, man. Yeah. It's been a hell of a ride. It's only been a short amount of time in proximity of everything.
Yeah, well, we got a famous statement around here, and it's wait till we get good.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's cool, man.
Yeah.
Hey, I appreciate you coming in here today, sharing some stuff with us. This is just a real general, frank conversation, and we went into a couple different areas that I had never even expected today, which is cool. But thank you for coming in and being open and sharing this stuff with me. Dealing with you on a business and a personal level has been awesome.
Thank you.
Same to Ben as well.
Thank you.
For those listening, I just purchased my second vehicle from you and Ben, which it's funny. I went to the bathroom right before we started recording this episode, sir, and got a text message from the delivery driver. It's coming tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Awesome. So be here. That's awesome. Yeah. Now, I will tell you, those guys and gals went on strike there for about 2 weeks, and I've got a pink Jeep I got to get to somebody.
I know that one.
Yeah. It's hey, hold on a minute. And there's a little bit of a strike issue and this, that, and the other, but we've been shown some grace.
Good.
So, we appreciate it. And thank you for having me on. You know how much I admire and respect you as a friend, as an Apex brother. So thank you so much.
I appreciate that, man. Best of luck this year.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be an epic year. Yeah.